very much. I'm just going to go ahead and start this, but I will. I got to give a shout out to Dr. Lee, who was one of my professors back in 1901.
And you already said 1970.
You know, you still look good. I want to show you. We talked about social media, and Catherine and I really began to develop a relationship. Quite frankly, the whole genesis of it was our mutual belief in the Creator and our responsibility, therefore, to take care of this planet this Creator has created, this Garden of Eden that we live on. And then she began to point me to some research that I could see and go, oh. And in 2011, we were in our worst drought in Lubbock, West Texas history. We hosted a challenging climate forum. We thought maybe 20 or 30 people would show up. It was packed. It was overflowing. People were standing. That gave us both hope that people understand something is going on. And I think people know it. Now, we still have the naysayers, but I try to do things that, well, let's see if I can start there. No, so we can have that. There we go. I tried to tie things to this. We had a simple little first freeze contest. Average first freeze is October 31st for Lubbock. But as you probably know, if you have heard the news, October was the warmest October in Lubbock climate history. Not just Lubbock, Roswell, New Mexico, Raton, New Mexico, Tucumcari, New Mexico. I do weather for New Mexico as well. They are blown away. They're worried in Ruidoso about snow. I had to give them some bad news. La Nina is not going to help them. And the days of their 200 inches of getting snow at Ruidoso and Apache are probably over for a while. Okay? Same forever, but I'm saying that there's been some definite changes. So I take something that's fun, like our first freeze contest, and I do this.
Hey, how you doing? It is just after our show at 10 o'clock tonight. This, of course, has been a Halloween show. As a matter of fact, watch out. Turn around. There's still some issues over here. Right there. Okay. All right. You're safe. You're safe, Lynn. So Lynn's doing the camera tonight. Two things I want to talk to you about that we didn't have time to talk about in the show. Number one, I don't think we'll have a first freeze until well after November the 10th. So make sure you go to everythinglubbock.com, or you can go to Fireplaces Unlimited and make your guess again. Because obviously we're not going to have a freeze in October. We're not going to have a freeze over the next 7 to 10 days. So just hint, all of you on Facebook, try it after the 15th. And if you see some questions there, just let me know, because folks like to ask questions. Second thing, all right, looking forward to being at the Texas Tech Climate Center tomorrow. That's noon to 1. And we're going to be talking about how I'm on a panel with two other people, and we're going to talk about how we are talking to you about our challenging climate. Our climate continues to have all kinds of issues, and how do we talk about that? Well, that's why this dovetails into this discussion here about our first freeze. Our average first freeze historically has been October the 31st. Recently, we've been seeing that first freeze push back a little more and more. The day very well may come that our first freeze is not going to be until November. I'm just speculating, of course. Next year, we may get our first freeze on September the 15th. That's the difficulty, and that's why I call it our challenging climate. But we'll be talking about that tomorrow with Texas Tech. And
I give a big shout out to you guys for inviting me. All right, so in other words, I just talked about climate change. And on this particular one, I did not get any negative comments. Now, on the one I had last week, I had a barrage of people saying, everybody knows it's just a natural situation. There's a lady that was arguing with me, and I made the comment, I said, well, our atmosphere, this is how thin it is. People think our atmosphere is big, but our atmosphere is thin. And the distance that takes from me to drive from KAMC Television to Lubbock International Airport is roughly 2/3 to almost more than that of our atmosphere. Therefore, the billions of cars on the earth and other institutions that are replacing increased CO2, it's not hard to realize that an atmosphere that's about 10 miles thick, especially the biosphere atmosphere, it doesn't take any genius to figure out that we're adding numbers. So this is broadcasting through social media. On the air, I use challenging climate to talk about how they influence and are misdirecting our climate models. Our climate models are struggling. The global forecast system of the United States, struggling. The European, which has a higher resolution than ours, a little bit more of a more stable platform that we use, it also is struggling. Why? Because climate models or forecast models base their results partly on climate history. And when climate history is changing, the models are going, whoa! And so we are seeing literally models that one run, say 12Z, will show 2 inches of rainfall over. The 18Z will say 2/100 of an inch. I mean, I literally walk in someday and go, what the crap? Okay, because it is it's creating that. And I use it on the air and said, look, remember when I showed you yesterday 2 inches? Now it's showing this. This partly is because of our challenging climate. Our climate is shifting. I use that word a lot. As it shifts, it's shifting our climate model, our forecast model's reliability. No one has ever commented negatively on that. No one. So it's on the air, the social media, and third, I speak to a lot of groups. Here's what's interesting about 101 talk about climate change. Nobody's arguing about it. And you know why? Because they're ag producers, they see it, they're living it. It is small communities running out of water. So the people, are empirically knowing what's going on. And so I simply display that empirical knowledge that they have, and I stay away from the term global warming. That's a political word. It's politics. And I don't want to get into politics with people because people out here, for some reason, they really don't like Obama very well. And they particularly don't like Hillary. And they'll vote for an idiot named Trump because climate change is fake. Because that's what the idiot said, right? So my biggest challenge is when I'm in the public, I have some people over here that graduated high school or the 10th grade, and I'm not being a snob. I'm being honest. And then I have people over here who have a PhD from Texas A&M in agricultural sciences. They get it. This over here doesn't get it. But the interesting enough, the farmers may not even have a degree at all, but farmers are smart. And they use high technology on their tractors, GPS systems, water GPS systems. Farmers they are good out here. We've had a year of oscillations this year that make me want to go, what the hell? We're in an El Nino and we're supposed to be, and then it cuts off, and then it comes on. In a La Nina, we cooled rapidly in August. It looked like we were going toward a La Nina that was going to equal 2011, which was scaring the crap out of me. It disappeared. Now it's come back and it's about 0.5 degrees below. So now we're predicting a weak La Nina, almost neutral phase in the summer. So the bottom line is ag producers see all this data. I provide some of that data to them. They know. And they're figuring out ways to use better water, And even through this year, ag producers in West Texas are producing 4 bales to the acre of cotton through genetics and through better cultivation practices, through better water use. So I think West Texans probably are a little bit more open to climate change than we think. But we still have those few that until the world burns up, won't believe it. So when I am asked the question, I'll give you, here's my answer. Ron, do you think that climate change is real? I said, well, it's just data. And the answer is yes. Well, is it all human? Well, I stay away from the all human. I'm going to let Catherine take that. What I say is this, though, which resonates with my audience, that at least gets them from point A to B. I said, do you remember kicking the can when you were a kid? The wind's blowing the can, but you would kick it. So that's what we're doing. We're taking natural oscillations, some which are like, for example, the ENSO, which is a natural oscillation, or the Arctic oscillation, or the North Atlantic oscillation, you name it, there are several, the Mad-Julian oscillation. And we're taking these and making them more extreme. No one ever argues with that position. Well, that goes back to what you're saying. That's getting people to move from this position of deniers to this position of acceptors. And Catherine is probably right. It probably is mainly human activity. But it's better to get people just to accept it's happening, because then when it happens, they're ready to hear the rest. So that's my story and what we do. I do take some hits for it. We all do. Except you, you're just too kind. We all do that want to do this practice. But it's getting better, believe it or not. Lubbock, Texas, USA, it's getting better. One question that you're asking about Miami. I took my kids to Fort Lauderdale for vacation. We went to Miami on a street that I've driven many times, except it has pumps on the street now, because high tide covers up the street. So all you have to do in Miami and Fort Lauderdale is ask people about climate change. They're like, oh yeah. Yeah. If the hurricane had hit Miami, Miami would never be the same. It would be like New Orleans. There's still 25% of New Orleans underwater. That's what's going to happen at some point. And when that happens, you're going to see an OST exclamation. Okay? So that's also something I tell people in private, public events. Don't like just one hurricane to hit Miami and it's over. Well, I'm sorry if I went a little long. I tend to do that. My producers give me a rap. That's the way I know. I just keep talking. But thank you very much for letting me be here today.